Introduction. Some nights are quiet, but they are not peaceful. This is the story of the night I felt completely alone, and how it changed me. Story. It was a cold, dark night. The wind blew outside, and the branches of the trees tapped softly against the window. The street lights flickered, and the city felt empty. I was sitting on my bed, hugging my knees to my chest, and staring at the ceiling. My heart felt heavy and my thoughts were loud. I lived in a small apartment with my parents. That night they were busy at work. My father had a late meeting, and my mother had an extra shift at the hospital. I had eaten dinner alone, watched some television, and then gone to my room. But the house felt strange. The silence was too loud. I tried to read a book, but my mind wandered. Every shadow in the room felt bigger than it was. Every sound outside made me jump. I felt small, scared, and completely alone. Even though my parents loved me, their absence made the night feel endless. I got up and went to the window. I looked outside at the quiet street. There were no people, no cars, no voices. Only the wind and the cold. I wrapped my arms around myself and wished someone would be there with me. I wished for comfort, for a voice, for a warm hug. Memories came to my mind. I remembered the nights when my sister and I would stay up late talking and laughing. I remembered my father tucking me in, telling me stories, and my mother singing softly while I slept. Those memories made the loneliness feel stronger. I missed them terribly. I tried to call my best friend. My fingers shook as I dialed the number. The phone rang, but no one answered. Maybe they were asleep. I left a message, hoping they would understand. But the waiting, the silence made me feel even smaller. I sat on the floor, leaning against my bed, and let my thoughts flow. I thought about life, about friendship, about love, and about fear. I realized that sometimes we are alone, not because no one cares, but because life makes space for us to understand ourselves. Hours passed slowly. The clock ticked loudly in the room. Every minute felt like an hour. I felt tired, but sleep would not come. My heart was heavy and my mind was restless. I closed my eyes and tried to breathe deeply, but the loneliness would not leave me. Then I remembered something my mother once told me. She said, "When you feel alone, look inside. You will find strength you did not know you had." I did not understand it at first, but that night I tried to listen to her words. I closed my eyes and thought about my own strength, my own courage, and my own heart. I started to think about the small things I had done that day. I had cooked my own meal. I had finished my homework. I had tidied the apartment. I realized that even though I felt alone, I was capable. I was strong. I could face the night by myself. I picked up my notebook and started to write. I wrote about the fear I felt, the sadness, and the loneliness. I wrote about the moments that had hurt me, and the memories that had comforted me. Writing helped me understand my feelings. It made the night feel less heavy. As I wrote, I thought about my friends, my parents, and the people I loved. I realized that even when they are not physically present, their care is always with me. The love they gave me stayed in my heart, even in the darkest moments. I wrote until my hand hurt, but I felt lighter. The loneliness did not disappear, but it became smaller. I realized that feeling alone is normal. It is a part of life. But it does not define us. What we do in those moments, how we face the fear, is what matters. The night was still dark, but I felt a small light inside me. I smiled softly, even though tears had been on my cheeks earlier. I understood that being alone does not mean being weak. It means learning to find strength within yourself. When my parents came home late that night, I was sitting by the window looking at the stars. They hugged me tightly, and I felt the warmth of their love. I told them about my fears, and they listened patiently. Their presence, even after the night had been so hard, made me feel safe again. From that night on, I learned to face the quiet moments. I learned to understand my feelings, to write them down, and to look inside for courage. I learned that being alone sometimes is necessary to find the parts of yourself you did not know existed. Even now, whenever I feel lonely or scared, I remember that night. I remember the wind, the silence, and the darkness. But I also remember the light I found inside myself. That night taught me strength, patience, and self-love. Some nights feel endless and some nights feel heavy. But even in the darkest moments, we can find courage. We can find hope. We can find love. The night I felt alone was painful, but it taught me lessons I will carry forever. That night changed me. It made me stronger, braver, and more aware of my own heart. And though I hope no one feels that alone again, I know now that even in darkness, we can find light within ourselves.